Hello Aquarius, this is your April forecast for 2017, and your main focus this month is all about communication, right? And short distance travel. Some of you might just want to feel that itch to get out of town, maybe just a short road trip. We're not really talking long distance, even though that can really be true for some of you, and that is because that full moon is coming up in your 9th house, which has to do with faraway places and foreign people and so forth. And plus you got Jupiter up there where that full moon is going to be cruising by, so that might just bring that to the forefront. The full moon this month is on April 10th, so if you're traveling anywhere around that date, it will be sure to be highlight and end up really, really sweet. Now, the new moon this month is April 26th, and this is showing up in your area here of your home and family environment. So if you're thinking, well, you know, new moons are always new beginnings, right? So if you're thinking you're wanting to move, this might be the time where you're placing your intentions for it. Even if you don't end up moving this month, but the intentions can go in here that you want to kind of invigorate your living area, whether you want it more spacious or what the deal is for you. But you have Mars here in this area, so Mars is really helping you to find the value that you're looking for, whether that means to upgrade, to increase the equity in your home, or whether it is to find a good home for a reasonable, good price. There's none like Tauruses that love a great bargain, and you have that right now. Mars in Taurus for the fourth house. Now Mercury is here that could help you. Mercury, however, is going to be retrograding this month, but up to the first 10 days, Mercury will be in the same area. So if you need to sign any contracts, papers, get it done prior to April 10th. It will retrograde until May 14th, so you might want to wait to May 15th, and if you can even give it an extra week after that, you should be out in the clear, because we never do like to sign any important documents under a Mercury retrograde. Now, if we have to, we have to. We can't just shut down life, you know, the show must go on. So, but at least you know where this is taking on shape and form for you. But this Mercury retrograde will be retrograding back into the 3rd house of communication, which again rules documents and so forth as well. So it's giving you a little extended time to do research. It's a great time under any retrograde to research and kind of go dig back into the past to see what you can find there. But many times you can come to see there's people coming out of the woodwork that you haven't seen for a long time. Since the 3rd house also is going to be highlight here, I could say that that could be siblings. If you have siblings living in a different city or state or country, this could be a time of reunion. In that case, that will be awesome. You have, see, the Sun, Uranus, and also Venus in this 3rd house. So I'm sensing that yes, there's going to be a lot of to and fro activity, daily activity, phone calls, text messages, and so forth. Very much so. Everything on social media will be highlight too this month. Speaking of Venus being in this area, she is already retrograde when we get into April. She retrograded there last month and will be until April 15th. So again, we can see that there's people coming to you from the past, right? You might be the one reaching out to connect with somebody as well. And it's all about settling accounts. If there's any undone, unfinished business, retrogrades are great to have that looked into. But since we're on the topic of retrogrades, let's talk about the long list we have. We have Mercury, we got Venus, we got Jupiter, we got Saturn, we got Pluto. All of them retrograding. And what that is going to do, Aquarius, is going to slow us down a little bit. It's not the best of time to forge forward with great new plans and whatnot. The universe is wanting us to look at what we've already accumulated of plans, ideas, and so forth in the past. There's a treasure chest back there that we might not have taken out from. We just accumulated possibilities and options and whatnot and didn't act on them. This could be a time where you can act on older topics and ideas. So even though that feels like it's new, it's not, because it was presented to you prior. This is the time to actually see where it can take you and lead you. Jupiter being retrograde will, until June 10th, is showing up in your 9th house for long distance travel. Now, anything about immigration and visas, passports, and so forth, you might come to experience that there is a delay in these matters because things don't really move quickly under a retrograde. So expect that there could be some delays. There could be some delays on your journeys as well, on airports, whatnot. So, bring a book, right? Now, Saturn will be retrograde from April 6th through that of August 26th. And Saturn is in your 11th house for your hopes, your dreams. It's also your social activities, and so friendships and so. Now, when Saturn is retrograde here, Saturn is the taskmaster. This is where we want to grow. Saturn will give us challenges. Sometimes it can feel a little heavy, like more responsibilities on our shoulders, but it's only because he's trying to help us master this area of our chart before we move into the next area. And for each of the 12 areas, it's 2.5 years, right? So we grow and we learn and we become more masterful. So for you right now, it's really looking at what does friendships mean to you. When Saturn is going to retrograde here until end of August, you might have some karmic situations coming up where you can work through, balance out those situations, perhaps even create some closure on certain issues. It's all about forgiving, letting go, and moving on, right? So you can expect some of that to take place with Saturn. Your dreams might slow down a little bit because that is the area where we do dream. Saturn might be shutting, so we're not that open in our channel. But then again, you have stuff that you've been dreaming up, a big storm about in the past. They can come. They might become very visual for you. Pluto, on the other hand, now retrograding from April 21st to that of September 29th. Pluto for you is in your 12th house, and it's been there for quite a while now, Aquarius. And that is your subconsciousness. Pluto is trying to revamp everything that it has accumulated through its journey from your birth and until now, where it's residing in that 12th house. It's going to be there for a while before it's going to break through into your first house. But we're still talking a number of years, easy. So it's not doing much. But when it's retrograde, it's more like the planets turn themselves on autopilot. It's not accumulating new things. It's just trusting what it knows, what it's learned thus far. So there's more of a cruising, but do pay attention to your dreams. That is what the 12th house is really good about. It's our open channel, right? Speaking with our higher selves, our guides, and so forth. So if we look at the month and what is coming up as far as the transits, before I start on that, I just want to mention to you, because it's come to my attention that all of you are getting these YouTubes to your email. If you're a subscriber, that should automatically happen, you'd think. But then it goes to show it's in your settings. So you want to go to your YouTube settings. You might have it crossed off on asking YouTube only to send you videos occasionally. And if that is the case, you won't be getting these as they are fresh uploaded. So you want to go check and uncheck it. If you're wanting these on the day they go up, then you will have them. So it's in your settings. On the 3rd of April, Venus moves back into Pisces, all right? That's where it was operating in March. So you're going to have an extended time to work on what was taking place there, which had to do with your finances. So right now you have a little touch of Venus sticking into, kind of like putting its foot into the 3rd house, which has to do with travel, communication, siblings, and whatnot, but then back into an extended time so you can clear up what had to do with money and income sources and so forth, at least to the 15th. Then slowly it will turn around and speed up. So you have most of April where you can get your ducks in a row. Venus rules that 2nd house. It's a good place to have Venus, even in spite that she's retrograde. You might find if you're waiting on some money that hasn't come, okay, that might be a little delayed. But under the delay, it's going to help you focus on how you can perfect this area. It'll be a whole year before Venus shows up here again. On the 6th, Mars and Pluto. Mars for you is in that 4th house for home and family. Pluto is in the 12th house, that subconscious, karmic, spiritual place, right? And Mars is wanting to shift something. It's trying to carve out a new path within the family. That could maybe have to do with wanting to move or change things up or upgrade. There might be a lot of practical projects that you can work on in the basement, maybe in the garage or the loft. Whatever it is, Mars is really super engaged in getting things done now. And I would say it's the best time to work on your home foundation. It's going to be 2 years before you're going to get this surplus of extra energy to come in to help you. And here, as we start off the month, Pluto is going to be beaming in, supporting Mars to really get a lot of things done in a very short amount of time. 7th and 9th, though, there might be a little bit of a challenge, Aquarius, and this has to do with choices that we want to make or our partner wants to make, and we might not see totally eye to eye. It feels like there's a little bit of limitation either on your funds or where you want the funds to go. You might want this and he or she might want that. So you're going to have to figure it out and find some kind of common grounds. Might be a little reaction to all of that on the 9th because then you've been 2 days under this situation, right? And if you haven't found a resolve, well, you'll see later in the month that this might work itself out. On the 14th, the Sun and Uranus will bring an unexpected surprise to you. The Sun is you and Uranus is that, out of the box excitement. And this is coming through either a text, a phone call. It might be you wanting to surprise somebody with some good news as well. The 15th, Venus goes direct. She's in your 2nd house, so she's going to be picking up speed and heading towards your 3rd house. We have on the 17th, the best day of the month for love and romance, when Venus and Mars, they're sextile. So we're bringing the male and female energies together. They're doing the dance. If you're in a relationship, it will be a beautiful evening for a date. If you're single, well, don't sit at home. This is a time where you're magnetically very, very attractive and could come to meet somebody new. And not only that, but let me tell you, Aquarius, the Sun and Saturn, they're trine. That's a beautiful aspect. The Sun is you. Saturn is what's wanting to secure you. In the long run, Saturn always looks for longevity. Since this aspect is so good, at the same time with Venus and Mars, whatever agreement is coming in here today, it has the signature to last for a long time. So if anybody's getting married right now, that is a kiss from heavens. On the 19th, we have the Sun moving into the sign of Taurus. Taurus teaches us all about quality. Good food, great wine, gadgets that are pricey but quality oriented. They're not about plastic and cheap stuff. So we're all going to feel that we're looking at the quality of what it is we're going to be either purchasing or working with. The 19th, this is going to be in your 4th house. Again, we're looking at your home environment. If you're thinking to move, you might this month find a good bargain. Tauruses know how to whiff them out, right? Where you can get a lot of square footage for a great price. So even though Mercury is retrograde, I would say that it's out of your 4th house, so it's not there. But then again, we want to be careful with what we sign for. Now, you could put in a bid as long as you don't sign before or after May 14th. So just try to keep that in mind. If you have to, you have to. Life goes on. The 20th, we have the Sun and Mercury conjunct, and this is a little awesome here this particular day. It's not that they don't conjunct every once in a while, they do. But the Sun is just on the cusp of the 4th house. leaving the third. So it's right there on the threshold as it's meeting Mercury, moving from the fourth into the third. So it's like meeting yourself in the doorway, so to speak. So see what that's going to do for you, because the sun is in forward motion, whereas Mercury's in a retrograde, backward motion. So that could be a little interesting to see how that works for you. And for you, it would be some kind of family-related matter that will come to the surface. On the 21st, Mars is changing signs. It's moving out of Taurus into Gemini, which for you will be your 5th house. This is going to really bring up a lot of energy as far as your self-expression. Think about Gemini. They're very versatile in what they do. They can easily operate several things all at once. So you're going to see how you're going to be dispersing your energies, get a lot done with a short amount of time. There's a lot of curiosity, but the 5th house is romance. It's about children. It's about self-expression and artistic talents and skills. So you might find yourself wanting to express one or more of these through your hobbies, right? Since it's a creative energy area and Mars is there, it's definitely wanting to pick up some of those skills. On the 21st, we're going to have a revisit of what took place on the 8th. Venus is now direct again, so it's meeting up with that point where earlier in the month we had that disagreement. Now is a time where you can actually try to find some conclusion, and I feel you will, because you're being supported by both Mercury and Saturn in a beautiful aspect, finding a mutual ground where both sides are happy. I feel that you're securing something that you can live with. Even though both planets are retrograde, the aspect in itself, the trine itself, is locking it in as positive. And it's about a situation in the past, so then we know what that is all about. And then we have, at the very end of the month, we have Mercury and Uranus. They're meeting in a conjunction. So surprise, surprise, here's some news, either by text or phone call, or it might be you surprising somebody else. This news for you is going to be in the 3rd house, so it could come from either out of town, it could come from one of your siblings, if you have siblings, or somebody in your community. If you are going to give a presentation, then you might just end up surprising yourself just how brilliantly that was done from your end. So listen, guys, you can listen to your moon and rising sign. I will see you next month.